Hi, Jesse. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, and this is the fastest somebody joined the session. Otherwise, it takes time. All right. So, how are you, Jesse?
I'm good, yeah. How's it going with
I'm
you?
all good, all good. Shifted to Calcutta, so finding my feet here, trying to figure out what works, what does not work. So, yeah, it's definitely not as fast as Bombay. So, that's taking some time.
That's awesome.
But great. Thank you for your time and thank you for joining us. So we already have, wow, a lot of people. All right, great. So I'll just give a small introduction of who am I, what do, and why am I randomly interviewing people. So I'm Naharika. I'm the founder of Sugar Delicious, and we make natural sweeteners, spreads, and a few in betweens, which are products made from the byproducts of the first two category. The idea is to be plastic free, zero waste, a sustainable, healthy brand. And if you want to shop, there is a link in the bio. That's it about me. Here with us is Chessie Ahuja, one of the few people who gave us the confidence of, okay, you're doing the right thing, so keep doing it. So thank you for that, Chelsea. I will now hand it over to you. Please tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so thank you so much, firstly, for doing this and pushing me to come on a live. Something that I don't enjoy doing, but then at the end of it, when I pick up, it's a great conversation. So then I realized that. So thank you. And about me, I am the founder and CEO of Brown Living. It's a marketplace, like an online store for everything sustainable, plastic free. We started with the intention to support brands like Sugar Free Licious, to push them to continue doing all the great work they're doing, and in the process, build an ecosystem for sustainability to help consumers make better choices, and do a lot of research, at the back end so that it's easier for consumers to make those choices. And yeah, today we are at we're a 550 brand strong platform, and all of this has been because of really passionate people coming together, and we've got a great community of people, of founders, of consumers, of advocates and affiliates that have really brought this together, and helped us grow to this stage.
If I'm not wrong, the time we met, I found out that you had 8,000 products enlisted on your platform. I'm sure that has increased now, but
Yeah,
that's phenomenal.
5,000 products, which spans across 1.5 lakh SKUs. Uh, so yeah, we're kind
Wow.
of for sustainable products, and it's growing every day. And I mean, I discover a new category, every day, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think that this something could be. And it's really like people have such crazy innovations, and they're you know
Yeah.
trying to like help them scale and grow and reach more people, as many people as possible.
But I mean, people say कि अरे sustainable brands नहीं है. It is such a difficult lifestyle. But do you think it's just brands who are not able to find a voice? That's the reason, or eh, I mean, there are very few brands when compared to the other brands who have had a monopoly in the market since ages. So, what is the issue? Is it people don't know, or there are few brands and like I mean, because you're a platform, so you know this
Yeah.
better.
So I think the problem is multifold. There are people who don't know, and when they discover, they're like, "Oh my God, I don't know what." Uh, those are the people who do it so hard, because I have to do so much research. I have to, change so many things in my life out of the ordinary, and I have to go out of my way to choose something that's sustainable. For people who know there are sustainable brands available, those are, trying to find excuses to not be sustainable in some way, right? And so they'll say, "Nahi yaar, lekin ye, it doesn't, it's not available in a nearby store, or it's not at the price point that I want, or it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
consistent as I want." So, I mean, I feel like you can't please everyone all the time.
yeah.
That I've made peace with. But what you can continue to do is make it easier for people to choose this, right? And that's one of the main missions for us as Brown Living. That how do we make sustainable living easy, accessible, and affordable? there are still people who will, go out of their way, spend more money, and choose a sustainable product. And those are, of course, our advocates, right? And those are
Yeah.
like maybe top 5 or 10% of our consumer base. And that, I'm guessing it's the same for you. But there are a lot of people who are sitting on the fence, who want to just try and experiment, who maybe heard a lot about this lifestyle, are excited by it, or are like, maybe this is not for me. But it's really not about like doing everything. It's about doing little by little,
Nothing.
and trying to implement as much as you can. And in today's times, I think 5 years ago this conversation was very different.
Yeah.
But in today's, go to an airport, you go to a store, you go to a park, you will see sustainability shouting at you everywhere, right? There is a larger awareness, collective awareness and collective consciousness that's come in. And especially COVID had a huge role to play in that, because we suddenly started realizing that, hey, if we don't change the way we live,
Yeah.
we are gonna die.
It will be changed for us, and we won't like it.
I think, I mean, I wouldn't say COVID was a great time for humanity, but it really made us realize a lot of things about us that we were sidelining, or not paying attention to.
Yeah.
A lot of taking care of their health, spending time with family, taking care of their mental health. And all of these things make you realize that there is a better way to live. And that better way can also be good for the planet. So why not do it, right? And I think that has overall led to, like, even on our platform, we've seen a much larger traffic coming in organically. We've seen, a lot of people showing intent in form of like add to carts, in point of like reaching the checkout page and then
Yeah.
maybe dropping because
Yeah.
they want,
Same here.
or they wanted a better deal. But there is a lot of intent happening, and there is a lot of queries, questions. The reason why we're spending so much time on social media right now educating consumers is because they don't even know. People don't know
Yeah.
what is recycling. They don't know what is decomposable. Basic stuff that we should have been taught in our schools. We are
Absolutely.
this on social media today because there is a general awareness, but there's also a lot of misinformation. So how do you tell the difference, and how do you make it easy for people to make this choice?
And
And so that,
it has been showcased or displayed as if it's such a hard thing to do.
uh,
But it's a matter of habit. I mean, आप रोज सुबह उठते हैं, ब्रश करते हैं, बाथरूम जाते हैं, you start with your, it's a matter of habit. So like personally for me, every day I get up, मैं पूजा के फूल I put in my compost bin. Like it's a matter of habit, and if you start, it's not that a big deal. I mean, but
yeah.
yeah, the switch is difficult.
But I think it's about like any lifestyle change, right? If you know you're on the heavier side and you have to lose weight, or your doctor's been telling you, your family's been telling you, they're worried about you, till you don't decide in your head, you're
Yeah.
not gonna make it. So it's like any change, right? It's about quitting a habit that you're not happy with yourself, and it just takes you time. So I think, like any change, if somebody makes it easy for you and somebody keeps
Yeah.
pushing you to do something, maybe, yeah, people will do. And there are also people who are like, I'm just gonna do it anyway, right? and
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
and I think one thing to note about sustainability is that it's really not about consumption at all. It's actually about reducing consumption. So
Yeah. Yes.
the most sustainable lifestyle you'll have is the product that you didn't buy was the most sustainable choice you made, because you found ways of creating something in what's available with you. So, and that's what composting teaches you, right? That you really take food waste and you make it into something that nourishes the earth and has no benefit for you directly. So
Yeah.
it,
No, but it does. So, for example, like when I compost, after a month, I end up seeing new plant seedlings. ऐसे randomly.
yeah,
किसी और पौधे में कुछ और पौधा आ जाता है. So, I mean, again, so if you allow nature to let be a part of you, it's really all time consuming. I mean, I can do this full time
yeah.
composting,
And
like full 9 to 5 job.
it's so heartening to see things growing in your
Yeah.
balconies or in backyards, and really all you did it was give it a little
Yeah.
love and time, and
Yeah.
that's all, right? You just need love and time to exist on this planet, and that
Yeah.
happens. So yeah, I think we should stop fretting about what's wrong with the world. Really focus on what's great and what.
What we can do. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you mentioned about yourself. Now you tell us what do you do? So your the introduction I had put up on a story. It said that you were in FMCG industry, and then you switched to Brown Living. So that switch, why did that happen? Why did you choose to open Brown Living?
Um. Actually, there's a series of events that happened, but I'll give you a short version. Basically, growing up, I spent a lot of time in my garden because I grew up with a lot of health issues, and I couldn't be that kid who would go out in the playground and play with lots of friends. So I spent a lot of time in my garden. I spent a lot of time with my grandma. You know, I used to do uptans way before it was cool, right?
Yeah.
So I think I grew up in a home where sustainability was a way of life. And when I grew up and then I moved cities, I went abroad to study. I then moved to Bombay. I was living this urban life where uh, everything, time trumped everything, right? Everything
Yeah.
was, is it convenient? Only then I'm going to do it. And convenience has been one of the biggest catalysts for consumer behavior change in the
It
last
still
10,
does.
15.
It
Yeah.
yeah, it still does.
So when you're living in a city and you have a job and you have to commute for like 2 hours, and you're just counting everything on time. So I started ending up like ordering a lot of food out, started eating a lot of processed foods. I stopped doing anything for myself in terms of skincare. And my body went through a lot of change. And I over time I realized that I found myself in this job where I was commuting. Literally, I'm saying commuting because I used to go to China for 15 days every month for
Oh
3 years.
man.
And uh, vegetarian, so like I ended up eating a lot of packed food, which had a lot of preservatives. Um, I didn't have time to make food, and because I was staying in a hotel, it was very inconvenient. So I ended up with a lot of like digestive issues and like hormonal imbalance and all of that. And suddenly, then I realized that okay, I need a job that's in India, and that was my last job in the group in FMCG. And even then, I in FMCG or like traveling across the country, I was looking at different markets. And I also found myself in stock rooms of all these stores where I was working, and I couldn't eat any of those things, right? Because everything was packaged, everything was processed. There was biscuits and chocolates and brand bars and whatnot.
Yeah, with the shelf life of 1 year and above.
And I was like, if I can't eat all of this, why am I even promoting this? I can't relate to the content I'm making at work or the campaigns I'm running. And then came a point where I was at a beach cleanup in Juhu, I remember. And that's when I found a pack of biscuits on the beach when I was digging stuff out of the soil. And I found a pack of biscuits that I was actually promoting a campaign for. And I also was from 10 years ago. And
What?
and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I don't eat these things, but I'm promoting them. And then I found them and I'm cleaning them up out of the ocean. But how much of cleaning can you do, right? This has to stop at the
Source.
source of it. And that day I came back, couldn't sleep. I was talking to my husband all night, and I was like, listen, I can't do this. There is, this really strong power inside me that's telling me that you need to stop doing what you're doing and do something that you believe in. And that was February 2019. Next day, I went, spoke to my boss saying, really, I can't do this. I'm quitting, whatever. This is my notice. And till date, she tells me that, I don't know how you had this revelation, but what you've done with it. So that's what, and I didn't know what I'll do. But I knew that I will build something in sustainability. I'll do something that doesn't create waste. So plastic was a very important part of that. And so I started research on how are sustainable products made? How can you do consumption without plastic? What are the products available out there today? And took me about 6 months to figure out that there were about like 800 brands at the time that were doing zero waste, plastic free
Oh,
products.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And there were 2, 3 platforms who were also like talking about sustainability and veganism. And I did a lot of research on international brands and platforms. And just like an irritating marketer, I would just, message these brands on Instagram, message them on LinkedIn saying, hey, I want to have a chat and I want to figure out what are your challenges. And that's how I found our first 15 brands who agreed saying, okay, why don't you, help us grow and accelerate digital. And that's initially it was going to be a consulting role where I just helped them with business advice, marketing campaigns. But then the more brands I spoke to, the more I realized that this is a much larger problem than I actually
Yeah.
imagined. And that's when we decided to build a platform where e-commerce as an e-commerce marketplaces as a model has existed for a long time, but you know
In this domain,
it, and and there was very specific problems that these sustainable brands had, and you will know
yeah,
there's issues of there's limited capital, there's small batch production, there's you have to be as good or better than a normal version. Your
yeah.
pricing also has, so there
And
were a lot
logistics, I mean,
of
how I don't know how many jars, hundreds of jars I have lost
yeah,
because I refused to use that plastic bubble wrap. But then
yeah,
it took me 3 years to finally now have
yeah,
damage-free logistics.
yeah. So, challenges like these really pushed me to like find solutions for these brands and really make it easier for consumers. Saying even today we have a policy in Brown Living that any customer who gets anything plastic in their package, that customer will get 100%, and that
Oh,
refund will
nice.
go from. So we are really putting the
Pressure.
onus on the brand. If you are calling yourself sustainable, then you better, make sure that
Yeah.
everything your brand is that. And so it was all the more important for us to find solutions for the brand, saying if this is a specific challenge for you, we'll help you find the solution. But you can't say that I can't do plastic free. It's not an excuse anymore. So those are the things that I really got into and got into the greater depth of how supply chain works and how what are their challenges in terms of scale, in terms of I've even helped a couple of brands hire interns for them. I've designed
Nice.
logos for some brands and just like literally whatever it took to take those brands off the ground and saying how can we make you reach the consumers that are a good fit for your product, and really just trying to build like an ecosystem for consumers and brands. Consumers come to us with like, can you help me find uh, you know sustainable vagina wash, or like swimwear that is sustainable, or like I
So
want to
you
replace.
you are the Google for sustainable brands.
I call myself, I call us a library, not Google yet, because there's a lot to be done. But what we're able to do is like put together resources. So we have a list of books, services that are around sustainability, products you can buy, products that you shouldn't buy. We're doing a series of videos on our page, which is about plastic free living. So this it's plastic free July, and we're doing
July.
31
Yeah.
videos, 31 solutions, one every day. So we're trying to do like as much awareness, education, consideration as possible. Um, we're also starting exports soon. So,
Oh, really?
what we'll start, opening our borders and making beautiful products available across the world. So that's going to happen hopefully this quarter. And yeah, there's ton of stuff happening, opening up. It's taken us also a long while. I started as a single person company, and now we're a big team. I mean, I call it a big team, but a lot of people think it's small. So all of that is subjective. But I think we have good intentions, and
Yeah.
we want to impact as many people as possible. So we'll do that.
So how so as a brand, as a vendor, or rather as a consumer, if is there a, is have you ever faced a consumer calling out that because they want something and that category does not exist from ground living.
Yeah.
So has that happened that you had to find a brand because the consumer is asking for example, for just for example, sustainable bag, laptop bag. So that a customer is saying, "आपके पास वो है क्या?" And then you, since you don't have it, has that happened that you had found out a brand who is doing that and then onboarded them because of the
Yeah.
customers?
That happens all the time. That's a big part of our onboarding process, where we're not just trying to onboard all the brands that want to onboard with us, but we're also constantly trying to fill gaps in categories. So
Yeah.
right now, on the lookout for swimwear that is not made with recycled poly, because the consumer really wants to switch. But for now, we've given us a solution that you can wear like cotton something in the
Okay,
pool.
that's that's very specific. I mean,
And so we found dental floss made with bamboo fiber because one consumer had asked for it, and we, literally went around.
my
Uh,
God.
we found phone cases. We found whatnot. We found, women have this razor for like facial hair.
Yeah, yeah,
We found a biodegradable alternative for that razor because you get like normal wooden razors for men to
yeah.
shave, but you don't get those thin ones. Uh, yeah, like
And all these brands are Indian.
yeah, all of them are
That's
produced here. So
amazing.
that's what I'm saying. Like every day, I uncover some new innovation. Somebody's making like plastic seaweed, and we're trying to figure out how we can use it in food.
Yeah,
He's making
yeah.
like tapioca bags for plastic bags in the fashion industry. And these are all like lab to market problems that we're trying to
Mhm.
solve. And some of them are like at really small scale. Like there's this one guy who's uh, who's creating this tapioca starch bag that I was talking about, and they have a very specific problem of not having enough capital to buy their raw material, and that's why they end up like going out of stock every 2 months. But
Mhm.
their product is so much in demand that he started asking for 100% advance from corporates, and now he's getting it. And corporates typically don't do like
Yeah,
60-day payback is what they have, right? So there are very specific solutions for like really niche problems, uh, but it's just about like getting them to meet the right
yeah.
buyer or the right customer, and then it just takes off. So
But do you think by doing that you will, so living sustainably or has become, or eating organic has become so expensive. So do you think it's a demand issue? I mean, if there's not much demand, that's why people are having to price at certain point. And if there's so much demand, they'll be able to reduce their prices because then they'll be able to produce in bulk, sell in bulk. So do you think price is an issue?
no, I think it's not a demand issue. I think it's a supply, because over everything like 20 years, 30 years ago used to be organic, or like before
Yeah.
these fertilizing.
Yes, of course, of
So
course.
supply was immense, and we didn't even know it was called organic. It's like, you have a and you don't know what it is, but the day you realize, you're like, oh my God, all the solutions for it. So
Yeah,
what happened to organic food is that everything before the fertilization era was organic.
yeah.
Uh, but with the idea of higher amount of production, higher yield per square foot, or whatever these farmers call it, um,
Mm.
they were sold an idea, a dream, that they will never have crop loss, they will never have uh, you know
Bad harvest.
a bad harvest season, and so they shifted to chemical fertilizers, which meant that the production for organic reduced,
Mm.
which
Mm.
is why the supply reduced, and which is why the price went high. The price didn't go high because supply was less. Supply has been reduced over time by companies that are making so much more money from selling these fertilizers. So it's our doing,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah, of course, of course.
the problem today is that because fertilizer made crops are so widely present, they have taken price tables down for everything.
Yeah.
which means that now if you have to choose organic, you have to pay a premium.
Yeah.
So we're only looking at a 20-year cycle, but wherein we have to look at like a 50-60-year cycle to really understand what happens to the price of organic produce. So it was actually below, and now it's gone up because of the chemical one sort of going down over time. And there's land is finite, number of farmers are finite, so it is going to have an effect in the pool of food produce. So there's a ton of work happening in the farming revolution space. And a lot of farmers now are realizing, lot of the woke ones are realizing that they need to go back to traditional practices, they need to go using cow dung and not using fertilizer. But it's actually a lot to ask for from a farmer who's probably not making ends meet. There are two theories of the richest people in our country, and some people say they are dying because they have so much loan. The problem is that they have loans because they had to buy fertilizers and they had to buy seeds. Earlier, farmer didn't have to buy anything. The raw material was free. They would grow one little crop and it 1,000 other seeds, and they would be able to, survive for the next 20 seasons. But it's all of this is, planned. I was reading up. A friend of mine actually studies agricultural farming, and like he did his college with understanding the agro industry, and he was telling me that when the Britishers left, they had the last container that they shipped to India. They had sent a shipment of seeds that I forget the name of it, but they had sent a shipment of seeds that they sprayed across all our highways and all our farmlands across the side. So when you go to a highway, you will see these really tiny white flower crops. They are actually poisonous for the soil. They suck out all the nitrogen from it, and was planted like 75 years ago when the Britishers left, and it was a bioweapon that was used. A lot of people don't like to talk about it in the agriculture industry, but what that did is actually it led to a lot of crops dying, and hence the rise of fertilization industry. So it's crazy what geopolitics with the way we consume today, and it's really sad the times we live in and how cancer is as frequent as a flu today, and all of that is because of the food we eat. So we have to choose, and if we want a good life, we are in a capitalistic economy, so we have to choose a good life, and that good life means buying expensive food, then eat it. Like, we have to choose, or we start to grow our own, which is hard.
And if that happens, people will realize the importance of the food they end up throwing after every meal.
Yeah.
I was the same person. Because I couldn't overeat, I used to let it go. And then when I started growing, वो एक टमाटर आने में 3 महीना लगा. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. And then things change. So I consume less because I don't overboard my plate with things. So I consume less. So if people experience the grunt of it, they will realize how difficult it is, and they'll stop taking it for granted.
That's the same with appreciating handmade, or when you go see how a sari, which is spun, takes like 20 hours to make or like 5 days to make, is when you start appreciating and you'll be happy to pay like a right. So that's why a lot of brands and a lot of sustainable businesses are focusing on the process and the art of making something, because till you educate your consumer on how much effort it takes, they're not going to understand, and they're not going to appreciate the price we are paying. And us Indians, we all love a great deal, or we are a price.
We want sale.
Because we've come from poverty, right? And we've come from a time and place where.
I'm sorry, Chelsea, just a minute. My dog is going crazy. I have to open the door for her. Just a minute. Sorry. Yes, continue.
Yeah, so I love my, what were we talking about?
I don't remember.
That's okay. But what's the name of your dog?
She's Arya. I just,
What? My niece is.
yeah.
Hi.
Arya, she's she's Game of Thrones wali Arya.
So,
Doesn't care.
so is my niece. I named her after the Game of
Oh,
Thrones Arya.
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So thanks, Arya, for breaking the flow. But so yeah, so I think we were talking about the price points. We want a great deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're a price sensitive economy and we all want discounts. And again, all of these things have, they're all notional, right? When I was working in the travel industry and uh, I was basically making luggage, backpacks, trolley bags and stuff. And we were looking at the price tables and what was happening in this space was this was the boom of Amazon, Myntra,
Uh,
this 2014, 15. And, these marketplace owners would tell us that, okay, if you want to sell something for 3,000 rupees, you make the MRP 7,000 rupees and you make it look like 50-60% discount. And I'm,
oh wow.
and it really worked. And it worked on e-commerce because through the year, there were these certain products that were really stripped down version of the best product we had. It looked the same, but it didn't have like stuff inside that,
Quality.
not quality, but like just pockets or, it didn't have the features that, we would otherwise add in, the fully loaded version. And we would give it at a 70-80% discount. But technically, it was still making us like,
Yeah.
90-100% margin on that product, even after selling it at 70%. So uh, I think a lot of consumers don't even know the real price
Yeah.
of how these products are made. What are they actually costing? We were getting it made in these Chinese factories back in the day. I think now they've moved their production, but all brands who operate at scale have to cut corners, have to
Yeah.
ensure either they're not paying their labor or they're making them work overtime, or they are there is this notional pricing of, okay, you make it look like it's 20,000 bucks and then you sell it for 4.
Mhm.
So or you make really sexy video imagery, like McDonald's does this really well, right? They make that burger look so
Juicy and
appealing,
delicious.
right? Now you imagine what kind of nutritional value will that burger have.
Now,
I have this
now
joke
I
with
know.
I have this joke with my family that nothing healthy is ever either appealing looking or cheap to buy,
Yeah.
right? Everything that
Yeah.
is good for you will be expensive, and that's
Or
nothing to do
inconvenient.
with sourcing. It has nothing to do with sustainability. You go and want to have like a nutritious bowl of fruit will be more expensive than a strawberry milkshake from McDonald's, because
Of course.
that's
Of course.
how the world works. So the conversation is never really about whether you want to consume organic or not. It's really about, do you want to have deep fried potato or you want to have high fiber salad. Those choices, we have to make those choices,
Yeah.
nobody else.
Yeah, but a lot of brainwashing has been done now. Oh, marketing
Yeah,
as an industry has played a big part of in
yeah,
kind of telling us कि अच्छा, oh, this is appealing. So I mean it's crazy how of course we have to make the right choice, but it has become difficult to kind of find out what is good and what is not good anymore, especially when it comes to food. I mean, it's just crazy.
and
So,
there's so much information out there that sometimes there is information fatigue and we are like, abhi chhodna kaun padega, I deserve it. I'm just gonna have it anyway and I'll
yeah.
have it. So yeah, I think it's I think our lives are constantly about the choices we make.
And we'll have to put in the effort. If you want to have a better life, I think we'll have to put in the effort for it. Because it has been made difficult to live a healthy life. So initially people told us, "Okay, अरे 3 month shelf life, so it's too less, and you can't keep on, these big nature baskets and all that stuff because shelf life बहुत कम है आपकी, तो जब तक वो आएगा, लोग देखेंगे, तब तक 3 महीना निकल जाएगा. So आप इसमें you put chemicals and all, and you कुछ भी करो, आप इसका shelf life 9 महीना करो, then we'll take it." And I'm like, then what is the point of what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So I might as well shut my shop. So those were the solutions that came to us. Nobody said कि अच्छा कोई बात नहीं. A very few who are still with us, like you, New Food Cafe, you people were like, अच्छा okay, because you understand that like you can't just. Abhi, if you want a product which is preservative free, chemical free, you can't have a 1 year shelf life. I mean,
Yeah.
the science doesn't allow it. So ये जो है, so खैर, so that's a massive issue. And so we did a lot of pop-ups. So people used to say, "अरे 3 महीने ही shelf life है." Even though they'll take a small jar, they're like, "How will we consume this in 3 months?" And I'm like, आप in the mango season, आप आम लाते हो, आप उसको 3 महीना नहीं रखते हो ना, आप you consume it, right? Because it has a 1 day, 2 day shelf life. So आप you consume it. तो वो भी एक इशू है फॉर ब्रांड्स लाइक मी के जिनका शेल्फ लाइफ कम है बिकॉज दे डोंट यूज केमिकल्स और प्रिजर्वेटिव्स. पीपल से कह रहे बहुत कम शेल्फ लाइफ है, सो हमें नहीं जमेगा. बट अभी so we are dealing with it.
But
one pop-up at a time.
You tried quick commerce, like getting onto like a Zepto, Blinkit, Swiggy, Genie?
Not yet. We are on Swiggy. We are on Swiggy Mini, which is their gourmet section in Swiggy only. So it's like an Instamart, but it's for Pan India. So we're on Swiggy Mini, but we will be getting into Blinkit and Zepto soon. So we were doing the paperwork for it. So that has been done. So we will get on boarded with them also. So, and also we have realized that people want to make those better choices. They would buy if an option comes in front of them. It's not coming, it's not as convenient as it should be, as a Lay's chips packet is. आप कहीं भी जाओगे आपको Lay's मिल जाएगा. So that is a massive issue. So yeah. So
I think
brands like yours helping.
To be wherever Nutella is present is very good. Because that's the real choice. They want, I mean, if somebody finishes a Nutella jar, they should not have a problem finishing a sugar-free delicious.
हाँ, but अब वही है ना कि Nutella jar आधा किलो is 450. Because 1/3 of it is palm oil, 1/3 of it is white sugar, and 1/3 of it is, what is that called? Something. And there are, in a 450-gram jar, there are literally 5 hazelnuts, like 5 danas of hazelnuts. So they can price it like that, na, because their ingredients are cheap. So if you want the real thing, तो अब ingredients इतना महंगा है. So but that thing they don't kind of make the connection of. For example, I saw this video. This guy is kind of saying कि आप lychee juice लेते हैं of any brand like a Tetra Pak, so that juice is 99 rupees or 100 or 120. 1 लीटर लीची जूस बनने में आपको 2-3 किलो मिनिमम लीची चाहिए. ठीक है, 1 kg लीची is 200 rupees. So how? How? So if you apply even a bit of yourself, so you will realize कि ये सब झोल है.
So Food Farm has been talking about it a lot. They've called the brand Real Juice. Right? Do you see the irony in that? And I think it's this, I don't have words.
Same here. After a point, I have no words. And like, what is happening? What are we doing with our lives? It's so blatant that they don't care. So I won't name them, but we have been in touch with one of the 5-star food hotel chains. So we were trying to become an ingredient for their biscuits
Mm.
instead of white sugar. So they said बाकी सब तो ठीक है, but वो flavor नहीं आएगा ना. So I said, of course, like you can't replace white sugar with anything, honey or
Yeah.
everything has its own distinct flavor, right? So like किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता है and हमको तो flavor होना चाहिए, किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता है अंदर क्या है. And for that same product which I was pitching for, they call it healthy product, like
Mm.
refined sugar free and all that stuff. But the backstory is that they are like, you know, like who cares?
Mm.
So
We have to
it's
start caring, and we have to start showing that we care. I think this whole movement about conscious and sustainability has been taking, front page news is because a lot of consumers are asking for it,
yeah,
and we just at it, and we just have to keep asking questions.
yeah.
Question the norm, because the norm today is not the healthy version of itself. So
But it is changing. There are people who used to call me up and they used to say, I have a daughter who's 3 year old and she has type 2 diabetes. And the doctor has told her to stop eating everything. मतलब कुछ नहीं खा सकती है वो लड़की, वो सिर्फ गाजर और बीन्स खाती है. तो she was saying, do you have something that can help her? So of course I suggested, and in addition to it, I also mentioned that at the end of the day, it's also sugar. It's a natural sugar. There's no chemical in it, but it's a sugar. So you have to eat it in moderation. आप कुछ भी excess में करेंगे problem होगा ही, however clean it is. So then she's like, yeah, and but it broke my heart. Like a 3 year old child is having to live on carrots and beans. I mean, it's really sad
yeah,
with how we are consuming
imagine,
things.
imagine liver profile for that person growing up. कुछ
Yeah,
खाया नहीं. Yeah,
हाँ, उसकी लाइफ गाजर और बीन्स ही है.
yeah.
मतलब I mean, it's not funny. I shouldn't laugh, but anyways. So बहुत डार्क हो गया conversation. That was not meant to be.
No, but it really reminds you of how we have to constantly make choice.
Yeah,
It's a choice today because we have so many options.
yeah. And it's easier nowadays to make that choice because everything is available. It's not that pehle we were living that life because our dadis and our moms used to take care of everything. Now people are living alone. They don't have the time. But they don't have the time, but they can definitely buy the product that has been made with. They can be conscious consumers. I think that will solve a lot of
You
problems.
put it beautifully. Actually, the cost of sustainability is that your mother's not making it for you, so you'll have to either
Yeah.
make it or you'll have to buy it at a premium
Yeah,
because
like my dadi, so I am from Delhi. So my dadi used to make ghee ghar mein, butter ghar mein, everything. Like she used to make
my
it. Yeah, so it was a normal thing. And so I started making it eventually when I got tired of all that stuff. So people were a bit surprised, ke, like how. So
yeah,
I make paneer, dahi, everything ghar pe, like, and you can taste the difference. You can definitely taste the difference. तो वो effort
yeah.
तो
But
डालना ही पड़ेगा मतलब.
come from?
Hmm?
But where does the milk come from?
Milk comes from Amul. वो ठीक है. But like after that packet opens, everything is in my control.
Yeah,
So abhi uh, now the cost of living in a city is I can't have a cow, even though I want to go and settle down in a village. But right now I can't. So when I do that, then I'll do that. But जितना आप minimize कर सकते हो उतना तो करना
but
ही चाहिए ना. So
and so from a tabela.
hmm?
You can, like back in Ahmedabad where my mom lives, they till date they don't order Amul milk. They order from this
हाँ
nearby
तो I
big steel container, sit in your patila, and then you heat it and then you drink them. That's how they do it. I
but
don't know if they have it in a lot of cities, but I think you still have a few
I
places
think
doing.
so ढूंढना पड़ेगा कलकत्ता में. But उसमें भी तो वो हो गया है. Have you seen that? So they have this white liquid and they add in water and it turns into milk. Have you seen those
Yeah.
videos? So I mean, who to trust and who not to trust? Na? I mean, everything has become.
Yeah.
Let's let's not go there. I will not be able to shut down. All right.
But
So,
running out of battery. But this was super fun. It felt like you know, really honest conversation that I had, and I hope that we're able to do greater things together. And if you do have, if anyone in the audience has questions, please ask us now.
there was a question, just a minute. Can we get connected after this live? Avni Jain, I don't know who you are asking this to, Brown Living or Sugar Delicious, please mention. Yeah, but that's it. That's the only question we have. But there were a few comments which said way to go. So, way to go, Chelsea.
Awesome. Thank you.
This,
Well,
this was wonderful. Thank you so much for your time again. And I didn't have to separately ask questions because you answered all my questions in one question. So that was great. Thank you so much for your time. And guys, we will upload this soon. And we'll also upload the audio of this on Spotify. And stay tuned for the stories. Everything will be notified. Thank you so much, Setsi. See you
thank
soon.
you so much. Take care.
Bye.